I've been reviewing and building a few websites lately, and I think it's time to talk about website mistakes because there are so many photographers out there really missing out on such great opportunities that a good website can be. I'm Ingvild Kolnes. This is episode 71 of Sustainable Photography. You're listening to Sustainable Photography, a podcast all about business tips, inspiration, and confidence building. I'm Ingvild Kolnes, the host of this podcast, and after over a decade as a photographer, I now help talented photographers run sustainable businesses. And for full transparency, you should know that I'm a mentor with paid offers, and I will probably mention some of those in this episode. Some of my favorite photographers have websites that are not showing up in search results, or their websites are not really doing them any favors. Some of them look beautiful, but that's not enough. Your website could be set up in a way that gives you bookings while you sleep or while you do other things, of course. And based on the number of photographers I've talked with and the number of websites I've stalked, chances are very high that yours is one of the ones that is not working for you. If you're getting booked, it's despite your website and you're missing out big time. I'm actually not sorry to be the one to say this because I want you to succeed. I want you to do better. And I'm so passionate about websites because it can really help you worry less about getting bookings, spend less time marketing, and it can help you book more of the right clients. It can be what helps you to increase your prices, to stand out, and to be you. Basically, your website can be a gold mine, or it can be something weighing you down, which is likely the case if you're making this first mistake, which is you're ignoring your website. And you think that social media or ads is the only solution to getting booked. With a little bit of care, a well-built site can bring you clients for years to come. Blog posts I wrote years ago, they're still bringing me inquiries, and my website has been on top of Google for search terms I've aimed for the longest time. That's led to me getting bookings without putting in an effort on a daily basis. So if you're ignoring your website and you think that as long as you have one, your job is done, you are really missing out. So please take your business and your website seriously and make sure that your website is working for you. Set aside time on a regular basis to create blog posts and update content, or outsource it. You can get help with pretty much anything these days. But this does bring me to website mistake number 2, which is lack of quality. For a website to work for you, it has to be built well. It has to be fast to load and use. And there are quality platforms that let you customize and make it user-friendly and search engine-friendly. The better quality your website is, the better it can serve you. Maybe it feels like a website is better than no website, but not necessarily. If you share high-quality content on social media and your website is terrible, I would say that hurts your brand and makes it less likely that you'll get booked. If you have a bad website now, you can put up a temporary coming soon cover with your favorite image and your contact info and leave it at that until you have something of quality that can match your photography skills and your brand. A quality website with quality content can also do wonders for you to get found. And reversely, a bad website will limit your chances of getting found and booked, which I guess in a way is good because you don't really want your bad website to be so visible. As an example, I've had my website hosted on services that were so bad that it sometimes broke my site and made it much less visible. Quality matters. And paying a little bit more can save you a lot of money in the long run. The invisible quality matters because your website needs to work well. But the visible quality also matters. If you're a high-end photographer with a homemade website, that's a clear mismatch. Your dream client wanting a high-end wedding is not going to go for a photographer that's made their own website and kind of pieced it together with pieces outdated and everything just in a big mess. When I was a teenager, I worked in a fast food shop. It was old and dingy and pretty disgusting, but the owner didn't think so. She'd seen it from when it was new, and since she was there every single day, she didn't notice how it had become dated and worn, and she didn't see the need for renovation. But everyone else did, and eventually it went out of business and something new and fresh took over. Make sure that that doesn't happen to you. Analyze how many visitors your website gets and how many leave straight away and how many contact you. Feel free to message me on Instagram and ask me about your website if you want an outsider's perspective, because sometimes that's what we need. Your website can do great things for your business, even if no one finds it through Google. But you're missing out on a great opportunity if you're not trying to get your website to show up in organic search results. Sometimes it's a matter of a few simple tweaks, like getting a better website host or changing a few settings. Other times you need to start blogging in a strategic way, of course. Or sometimes you actually need to make a new website from scratch because the one you have, it just won't make it. So yeah, this is the third mistake. Your website is invisible. And oftentimes photographers' websites, they all look the same. And I really, really want to urge you not to look at other photographers' websites when you're making your own, because it's so likely that you'll end up with something that looks similar, and that is not what you want. You want to stand out. You want your website to reflect your brand and not be a copy of someone else's. And another reason not to make a website like other photographers you see is that most photographers' websites suck. They're badly made, sometimes both in terms of user friendliness and quality. Even though they often look pretty, they're not effective. They're not helping you to get booked. The fourth mistake is that you're making it too complicated or being too vague. Maybe your website is all photos and no text and no buttons. This is so common. Of course, you need to show your photos. That's a given. But you need text. You need to make it clear what you do and how it's possible to book you. If you're just talking about what you like to do and not how your potential, at this point, client can be a part of it, you're missing out because they're missing out. If your website is all quotes and nothing clear about the fact that you're a photographer, that's not helpful. That's confusing. So make sure that you talk about how to book and what your process is like, and of course, who it's right for. But honestly, that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe you're also making it too complicated to navigate your website. Make it easy to book you and to find the information they need before they hit send on your contact form. I also recommend having prices on your website. And in Norway, it's actually required by law. And I recommend it either way because it's really hard for someone to determine if they're a good fit. Because it's really hard for someone to determine if you're a good fit for them if they have no idea what price level you're at. So you can actually be missing out on a lot of inquiries if you're hiding that important information. The fifth website mistake I want to talk about is that you're wasting your time on DIY. Having a website can be so great for your business. And even if you're doing really well as a photographer, you could be doing a lot better. I often hear of those who are getting help from a friend or a partner to make their website, but then it doesn't really happen. Because when you're relying on someone else's goodwill to help you out, it's usually on their terms and not yours. So it can take months and even years. And for every day, you're losing out on money and fun shoots. Actually, that reminded me of the time I got help to make a website years and years ago. I wasn't getting help from someone who was really professional. It was a beginner, but I didn't want to pay a lot. So he was going to help me make my website, and it just took forever. He kept saying, oh, it's going to be ready soon. We're going to be done soon. And at the end, it had taken a year before I got my website, and it wasn't even done because he kind of just gave up. So I'd waited a year, and yeah, it didn't cost me a lot of money then and there. But imagine how many shoots I was missing out on when my website took a year to make. And I understand the urge to save money, but by making your own website, you are most likely losing out on a lot of potential income because you're not a professional website designer. So you're not creating a website that's getting found and working in the best possible way to get your clients. And you're spending a lot of time doing something you're not good at. And that time is so much better spent working on your business and making money. So, very often, saving money is costing you money. And the final mistake I want to talk about is the fact that you're talking about yourself and not your client. This one is so common. I see it all the time, but you're writing all about yourself on your website and not about your clients. You're talking about what you love and what you want to do more of. And it's all about you, basically. But your website is so much more effective if you talk about your clients' needs and wants and dreams and what they'll get from working with you. I could actually talk about this topic forever, but I'm going to stop here. If you're not taking your website seriously, then I can promise you that you're losing out. So if you want to make more money and if you want to get help to have a website that's truly you, just get in touch and let's talk about it, because maybe I can help you out. You just listened to an episode of Sustainable Photography. Please share this episode with a photographer you care about.